My name is Stephen Chavez, and I've been a trial attorney for over 25 years in New Mexico. I only represent survivors of catastrophic injuries, and so I've been doing this quite a long time. I got this case in 2019, just after the incident, within a week or so after the incident. This was an entirely confidential settlement with a very large national grocery store chain. RM is a delightful 12-year-old little boy. The only difference from him and other children is that he's tragically afflicted with a very rare, very debilitating progressive muscular dystrophy. He's also afflicted with a primary immune deficiency syndrome. He's pretty much confined to his motorized wheelchair to get around with his mother. RM loves to go grocery shopping. He wants to be a chef someday. When RM's mother parked the handicap accessible van in the handicap parking zone at the grocery store, there was a large defect in the asphalt where it butts the walkway, essentially ADA-Noncompliant by a lot. RM was snugly strapped into his wheelchair with his seatbelt when he was going over this. When the front wheels hit that transition, his wheelchair suddenly stopped. The momentum of that, he flung forward with his wheelchair, crashing into the hot, dirty asphalt. He woke up one morning just 2 days after the fall, and he went into a declining septic shock. We found out later that a rare threatening bacteria that was on the asphalt actually entered RM's hip through the abrasion. RM's immune response to fight the infection caused him to go into that deep, severe septic shock, which was very life-threatening. So he was rushed to the hospital a second time, where he spent almost 3 weeks in the ICU. The emergency room physicians in the ICU decided that they needed to basically pump RM with high doses of very strong steroids to fight the infection, which is the standard of care for this kind of septic shock, and ultimately saved his life. About 3 weeks after he was released the second time from the hospitalization, he began showing symptoms of another acute syndrome, this time steroid-induced diabetes. His vision became really blurred. He was getting debilitating headaches that lasted for days. Something was wrong. He recovered from the steroid-induced diabetes, but he still suffers the side effects of all the treatments that he had. All of that was linked to the hip abrasion and the fall. So there was a mountain of medical records in this case. They wanted to attempt a pre-litigation mediation, so I agreed. Connecting the dots of the multiple causations for each of these successive injuries was going to be a very difficult task to explain to a mediator, because I already had the best experts to help me tell this complicated story. I reached out to DK Global as my fourth expert. Animating the multiple layers of events wasn't an easy task. I wanted DK Global to put it all together into a visually cohesive manner. The team came up with a brilliant idea. They wanted to tell this story, the interconnected, multiple cascading medical events and injuries, with dominoes falling one by one. Not only was it a brilliant idea, but it was the perfect solution to presenting these sequential interconnecting injuries to this case. And DK Global was able to turn it around with an animation and recreate it exactly the way it occurred, exemplifying the pain that started this whole thing with RM. This case did settle. It settled for an amount more than what I thought it would settle for.